My partner suspects that another guy might have been intimate with me and requested a DNA test. I have a boyfriend of 3 years who is the first individual in a romantic sense that I've ever truly loved, and I believed we were thriving as both parents and companions. I'm a fresh mother to a baby boy who is my greatest source of happiness, and even though getting used to caring for an infant has been a wild ride. The recent months have been fantastic, draining but fantastic. On Friday, he arrived home and asked me for a paternity test out of nowhere. It was totally unexpected. I was storing the dishes and he brought it up as casually as asking about the evening meal. I'm from a different ethnic background than him, but our child, aside from the skin color, is basically an identical copy of him based on the baby photos I've seen of him. I was shocked when he made the request, and his explanations were that he needed to confirm he was the father. He required that level of certainty. All I can recall as he talked is instantly feeling deep sorrow. The man I cherish doesn't have faith in me. He truly thinks I could be unfaithful, sleep with someone else, and then attempt to present another man's child as his own. I've never offered him any grounds to suspect I'd betray him. I've made efforts to be open and talkative, and it wasn't sufficient. He mentioned he'd provide me with time to reflect on it, that he wouldn't secretly perform the test, but for our connection to progress, he has to be fully confident. He said it again because, in his terms, he wanted me to grasp how earnest he was. After considering it for a few days, I'm going to let him have this paternity test since I have nothing to conceal. I never strayed and would never have strayed on him. Once it's established that he's the father, I'm concluding things, departing that very day, and I'm going to do my utmost to be a collaborative co-parent with him. In the interim, I'm formulating my departure strategy, a new home and a legal expert to arrange a custody setup through the courts. I can't share this with my relatives or close friends at the moment because they'd lose it completely, and my main focus is our child. I hope the test turns out to be worthwhile for him. I'm not looking for guidance or comfort or to justify his viewpoint. I'm simply coming to terms with the fact that this phase of my life has ended. What a method to kick off the new year, huh? Update 1. When I created the initial post, I was furious and intended to walk away, but the rage soon gave way to deep pain. Once I settled down, I understood that if I surprised him like that, I'd be mirroring exactly what he did to me by requesting the paternity test. I decided to request a conversation, but I also didn't want him to assume I was dodging the test, so prior to that, I scheduled appointments at 2 separate DNA testing facilities. I asked him to discuss things when he got home, and I ensured our child was with my mother. I informed him that no matter the outcome of this discussion, the paternity tests were arranged and would proceed. I essentially inquired about his motivations, and when he began questioning the paternity, was it from a past romance? Had infidelity occurred? He explained it started about a week before he asked me. He was on his lunch break one day browsing articles, and he selected an older piece about a guy who discovered his 3 children weren't his after around 20 years. This pulled him into a spiral of podcasts and YouTube clips that urged men to seek paternity tests. While he considered those podcasters foolish, he said paternity was a special case. His logic was that certain women have done this in the past and he wanted confirmation. His precise words were, "You know it's yours because the baby emerges from you, but how do I know? The test provides me that guarantee." I was wounded by that, but I chose to describe my emotions. I said that for him, it was a logical demand, but for me, it was essentially him declaring he lacked trust in me. It was him implying he thought I could betray him, become pregnant, have him support me emotionally, financially, and physically through the pregnancy and delivery, and essentially deceive him while he raised another man's kid. I told him I get that women have done this previously, but the idea that he believed I would do this to him is what troubled me. I shared the honest truth that in my anger I had planned to depart and that I even searched for a lawyer, a co-parenting arrangement, and a new residence. He was astonished that I'd leave over something so minor. I saw that as a strange sort of irony, that he viewed giving an ultimatum about a paternity test and essentially accusing your partner of infidelity as something trivial. I told him I was deeply wounded by his words, that I remained hurt, but if he requires this reassurance, we'd go through with it. He asked about our relationship. I don't know. We conducted the test 2 days later and received the results after 3 days. He opened both, and to nobody's shock, he's the father. He appeared clearly relieved upon reading the results, and I don't know why, but that pained me even more. Our son is his exact duplicate. My boyfriend shared details about the paternity test with his cousin a few days after he asked me, and the cousin informed his wife, and it spread rapidly. particularly in their family group conversations. His mother halted the rumors by creating a side-by-side photo montage of him and our son, but also including some extra separate images of each. She shared the pictures in the family group chat and said, "Look at these old photos I discovered of Mason." After folks commented, she clarified, "Actually, the one on the right is my grandson, or this one isn't Mason." Literally, the relatives just assumed it was the same individual in every photo and that some were captured in dimmer lighting. That's how identical our son looks to him. Which I find amusing but also somewhat irritating, like I carried you for 9 months just for you to be a clone of your father. I didn't view the group chat, but the discussion faded after his mom did that. It's been roughly 2 weeks since the results and I'm still profoundly hurt. I feel foolish. I assumed the results might ease some of that, but they didn't. It's as if a switch flipped when he requested the test and I can't locate a way to flip it back. I'm fairly certain postpartum issues are contributing to this because all I do is weep, and I wasn't this way previously. I've also relocated to the guest room, something he opposed, but I felt guilty because except when our son is up, I'm gloomy constantly. We're both seeking a therapist for couples counseling. He already has several sessions scheduled. He wants to progress, marriage, additional children down the line, and return to how things were, and he believes our bond is more solid now. I hold the contrary view. I think our relationship currently is frailer than someone balancing on stilts. I don't know if I'd say we're a couple. The physical intimacy has vanished. I'm not in the proper headspace and I don't want him to touch me. We seldom discuss anything except the baby. It's uncomfortable and I'm attempting to discover a path back to our previous state and I can't envision how. I'm going to attempt to repair this and pursue therapy, but I just have this sensation that this is essentially a doomed vessel. I hope I'm mistaken. I desperately want to be mistaken. Update 2, I departed. Matters have deteriorated, and on recommendation, I can't truly elaborate until issues are resolved in court. I suppose I'm truly a warning story about what can fail.